Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel, AmusedJester. My name is Junior. We're in my backyard, in my patio. This is the only place big enough to showcase what I'm about to do. This is the second part of the studio scale Millenium Falcon build. This is the one dealing with the support frames. Once you've downloaded that particular file, I'm assuming there is a document in there written by Darrin that basically tells you all about that stuff. So I'm assuming you've read that document, so you should know the measurement of the aluminum frames that you're going to need. This is that one here. This long bar over here is about 40 inches. Mine's at 39 and a half. And then you need 33 inches of these two over here. And you need 15 inches of this one. 15 inches, 15 inch, 15 inch, 15 inch, and then an 8.5 for the crossbar. So he has all that measurement in millimeters, so it's more accurate than mine. What I'll talk about right now, I'm going to try to make it brief. To save you all the grief, what I suggest is at the 40-inch aluminum frame over here, determine where the middle is, right? From that point, because you know the crossbar is 8.5 inches, all you need to do from that crossbar over here, in the middle, you get 4 1/4, and that's where you place the long one. Same in this one. From the middle, 4 1/4, place this one. Once you place these two, put in the crossbar 8.5 inches over here. The distance from here to here, I'm not entirely sure yet, but you can move this afterwards. It's not that hard to move at all. So right now I'm at 16 inches here. Once you've done this, this, and this, and this, I'll tell you the distance for mine. This from here to here, it's 7.5 inches for mine, 7.5 inches. And then from the middle to this one is 8 1/4 inches. I suggest do this frame first with those measurements. And then once you're ready to put in the support frame 4, which I'm about to show you, you'll have a very rough estimate of where it should be. It'll be easier for you. Again, the measurement from the middle to this part is 8 1/4. The measurement from here to here is 4 1/4, and the measurement from here to here is 7.5. Build the frame first, and then once you start ready putting the actual frame, the core frame, then it will be easier for you. So. Just inserting this as part of the video. I have it hanging temporarily. This is not how I'm going to do it. I'm just doing this just so I can show you how I'm doing. It's the easiest way to show it because it's a really big item. Obviously, I think once you start connecting the pieces together, it's better if it's horizontal. I'm also only doing it on my own, but you'll see in the video it is possible. You just got to be really, really careful. So what I'm holding in my hands are the two separate halves of the core. If I go inside here really quickly, I've glued this part to that one to that, same as this one. I did not glue the last part over here, and I'll show you why. This part, I'm not sure if you were supposed to glue it permanently. The way I've done it, you can disassemble it if something happens or anything like that. So I've glued these two and these two, and this will go in this way, right? So this part right here is the top of the Millenium Falcon, where the mandibles are, and then you'll slot in like so. Okay, keep that in mind. I'll show it to you right now, but I'll show you why I did it this way, because with the frame closed, I will be able to put this on easily. Alright, so just like that, the core is on. Again, this is just temporary, so I don't have to, I can always move it and everything. Alright, for the next part, if you've looked at the parts, you know that certain sections are one big piece and certain sections are cut in half that you're supposed to glue together. And then after that, you're supposed to glue only certain sections. So the function is for removability if you need to access certain parts of the ship. Um, Basically, it's cut up in the mandibles, left and right, and then the docking bay here and here, and then the bottom part over here. And then I believe there's another part over here. So I'll show you those pieces right now. One of them, this is one of the mandibles constructed. These are all glued together into one piece. As you probably, if you're familiar with this piece, as you can see, there's a seam over here. This is two parts that you need to glue together. This one, I'm not sure if this is two parts, this is two parts, this is one single piece. As you can see, there's no seam there. I'm not sure if Darrin recommends that you're supposed to glue these two together, because I know if you look inside that I have those two screws here, but you also see this piece of plastic. This is what Darrin calls as stroke. So that's included in the file. You're supposed to print 32 of these. There's a diagram that tells you where you need to put them. These are recommendations by Darrin. You don't need to follow them if you don't want to, but I followed it just in case. You'll also notice that this has two on both sides. On the drawings, you'll see that you're supposed to, but in certain parts, you don't need both of them at the same time because it's solid over here. So this is one of the pieces that you can put on. The reason for this is, and I'll put in the other one as well. The other section looks like this. This is the one for the docking bay, as you can see. And the biggest piece is this one. This is obviously the bottom piece for the Millenium Falcon. So let me put it together and I'll show you. These are the pieces that you're not supposed to glue together, the one I'm about to hang on the frame. The reason why is, like I said, for removability, for access later on, okay? And I'll show you how I'm doing that right now. Next part is this part over here. By the way, when it talks about, you see FS, I'm not sure if you're seeing that. FS, and the other one would be FP, that's starboard side. S stands for starboard, P stands for port. Just in case you're not really good with boat terms and naval terms, and that, which I'm not as well. It will have it, each piece will be labeled so you'll know where it goes to. So like I said, you might have better ways of doing this. Obviously I have to do this part first because I have to hang it down. The problem we get encountering right now is because the way this thing is shaped, you can't really push it in like that. So I'm just gonna, for this part I'm just gonna loosen this really quickly so I can move it along. now I can move this up and down. Insert this part here. And then drop it down. And that's it. That's how you connect it. Obviously, I'm only showing it vertical like this, so you can see the whole thing being instructed on video. I would, just to make it easier on you, especially if you're just doing it on your own, I would lay it horizontally on flat and everything. I am not tightening this up yet because let me tell you something really quickly how important this brace is, that you get it perfectly exactly to the measurement that it is, because mine is off by that much, like that much. Like it's slanted a little bit, it's not horizontally perfectly cut, and because of that it's off by a little bit. It's I believe it's 8.57 inches instead of 8.48, and what that does is this is the correct measurement from here to here. By the time it gets here, it's a little bit bigger. By the time it gets higher, that distance gets bigger and bigger. That's why I'm not going to force this in, because I know this is not properly tuned in. So that's basically it. That's how you do the core support frame for the Millenium Falcon. Everything is all set to go. So start putting in the skin and the actual Millenium Falcon. And as you saw, everything is completely reversible. I can take this apart in sections. If I have to access a certain part of the ship, I can. It seems like the only thing that is problematic is this one. Because, yeah, maybe you should put this in first and then this one, because of the slant, and then the bottom part, and that will be easier to do when it's horizontal. And then if, like you saw me do, make a mistake, then you can easily loosen up the aluminum frame over here anyway. Anyway, that's it for my part 2 of the Millenium Falcon studio scale 5-foot build. And this is the aluminum frame and the core support frame. The next update is probably going to be a while, because I want to test fit it first, and I want to see how it all puts together. So, and I'll probably want 1 or 2 sections instead of just the one before I start putting it in. So that's probably going to be next week or next 2 weeks. So thank you for watching. Hope to see you guys in my next review. Bye.